All right, I've done my drawing. Now, the thing is, you have to remember this is your art. So you don't have to paint exactly what you see. We're inspired by things around us, and you can just take a portion of that. You could even cut this photograph up or print it out several times, cut bits up and rearrange it however you like to make a pleasing composition. You own this, you own whatever you're doing, so you should feel free to muck about with it. Of course, you do have to remember to decide where your light source is coming from. And what I find very helpful is to actually put a very light arrow up the top, which I can take out with a kneadable eraser later. And that can remind me where my light is coming from, where I choose for the light to come from in this painting. Oh, pardon me, sneezes, a bit of allergic rhinitis out there. Although we have a lot of flowers in this beautiful, beautiful shrub, which is just coming into full bloom, I don't want to use all of those. One of the beautiful things about painting azaleas is that they've basically just got 5 petals. If we look at this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 outer petals, and then you've got a smattering of 2 or 3 little ones in there. They've got lovely curved and curled over edges. You can see some cast shadow in there. So there's lots of light coming in through the foliage, and you can manipulate this however you like. We don't have to paint exactly what we see. And as you can see, there are actually light pinks, through to mauves, through to blues. There's all sorts of beautiful colours in this, and even some speckling where we could use some salt perhaps. And with the leaves, we could create the leaves using Glad Wrap. So we might have a go doing all of that. So what I did was I chose to use flowers from different aspects, plus a couple of buds, and even and the odd stalk, just to add some variety and some interest. I have to decide where I want you to look, the viewer. I have to decide on my F1, my focal point 1. It's not in the middle of the page, and I don't use the rule of 3s. I actually use Fibonacci sequence, but that's a whole other ball game. So I actually think that I want you to look mainly down here. I might change my mind as I go. I might make this an F1 or possibly an F2. But the idea of this composition is it leads your eye around the page. So I don't want anything that's going to point you out to the corner and take your eye off the page. I want the shapes of petals as they bend over to be leading the eye back into all of this lovely composition in here. However, like I said, this is just an exercise. We'll start wetting and slinging some paint shortly, and take it from there. So have at it, spend some time. Don't overthink this. They are just shapes. As I said, you could try and do it upside down, is always a good idea, or if you turn it over on the back, you can often see shapes through the back of the page, and your brain doesn't quite think that they're going to be flowers. Some people do trace, that's fine if that's your thing. I prefer to do them myself. And the other thing is I didn't try to particularly copy these flowers. I just wanted to get a feel for them, to see how they behave when they turn on their side, for instance. So this one's facing out that way, this one's facing that way, this one's facing this way, so that there's some natural interest as there is chaos in nature. So there should be chaos in our paintings. Controlled chaos, I guess, but I prefer as little control as possible. I'll talk to you soon.